Hello. Sorry if this episode is a little bit later. I'm actually recording the audio and doing most of the editing today on Tuesday because I waited to the last minute to finish this character sheet. So basically, today we're going to be revisiting my character Spirit that I talked about last video and turning him into a Dungeons and Dragons character. Now, I would love to go into more Dungeons and Dragons and maybe help other beginners, because I would consider myself a beginner, or at least in the sense of like I've only ever played very low key games and have not done anything like super serious or even really know every single rule. So I'm going to not exactly talk about like how I put together a character in specifics, and we're just gonna go through all of the things that I've written down. I did this on a Google Doc because I don't have character sheets, so you're just going to see probably little screenshots of information, or I'll just copy it onto a file. So, I like to start with some quick details so that I can, if I need to, really quickly pop back into official sources to find that. I usually just use PDFs online because I don't have any of the books. Super easy. So, for Spirit, I wanted to keep him a human. I think that's simple. I knew I was going to make him a wizard, but I wanted to make an excuse why he wouldn't wear any armor, because he doesn't wear armor in Gauntlet Legends. And I went, oh, I'm going to put him as a multi-class with monk, but it starts with being a monk and then goes into being a wizard. So like 2 levels in monk, everything else in wizard. That's what I kind of settled on. Background was Haunted One, and I'll explain that later. And the type of wizard I chose was Necromancer because, and I think I mentioned this in last week's video, and I'm sorry but my nose is a bit stuffy. There is a cool power that you can use in Gauntlet Legends where the wizard creates a giant skull, and I thought, oh, Necromancer. Alright, so we're gonna go on to the technical stuff. The ability scores I got, when I rolled it, it was like all the same number, which was very funny to me. It was 4 11s and 2 17s, and I thought that was hilarious. So I just kept that. And so we have, because as a human, like every ability score basically goes up by 1. So we have Charisma is 12, Constitution is 12, Dexterity is 18, Intelligence is 18, Strength is 12, and Wisdom is 13. I don't remember why Wisdom went up, but it was probably there in there somewhere. Saving throws are Strength and Dexterity from the monk. Skills are just Arcana, Investigation, Athletics, and Stealth. Passive Perception is 12. Proficiency bonus is 2, and then we'll go up with time. Armor class is 15 with no armor because monks get unarmored defense, as do barbarians, I believe. Hit points start at 9, and then I kind of go through. I always level my characters up to level 5. So that goes from 9 to 16 to 27 to 42 to 54. That could totally be wrong with how you do hit dice and hit points for multi-class, because as far as I saw, it was you have your original hit dice from what you started with, and then you just add that plus your new hit dice. So for this, it would be 1d8, and then it's 1d8 plus 1d6. That's what I read. Could be wrong. Good thing I'm not playing this character. Speed is 30 feet, and then 10 feet from a monk's ability that gets added on, which I don't remember what it's called, but I just know you get extra movement. Let me look it up real quick because I am going to want to remember what that's called. It's Unarmored Movement. Okay, so starting at second level, your speed increases by 10 when you're not wearing armor or wielding a shield. This increases when you reach certain monk levels, and then by 9th level of being a monk, you can do a bunch of cool things with unarmored movement, so that's neat. Armor proficiencies are nothing. Weapon proficiencies, simple weapons, short swords, daggers. Tool proficiencies, I picked Cartographer's toolset. I think that's super interesting and useful. Languages, Common, Infernal, Deep Speech, Abyssal. Because he's a wizard, I would feel like he would need to know some of those darker languages. Alignment, I put is lawful evil. I am kind of certain I want to change this to lawful neutral, but I do like, given the Haunted One background, that he would, like, it goes with his personality where he'd just be like, there's like this power within me, I don't like it, I'm kind of evil. Even though he's pretty chill, like, he's not going to go out and murder a whole town. He's pretty okay with doing stuff like that, but it's where you piss him off and he's gonna murder your family. And that's the kind of, like, vibe I was going for. He doesn't seek it out, which is why I would say he's more neutral, but he has no problems doing it when you bother him. Personality trait is I like to read and memorize poetry. It keeps me calm and brings fleeting moments of happiness. Ideals is logic. I like to know my enemy's capabilities and weaknesses before rushing into battle. Bonds are, and this is where I get mostly his alignment and, like, personality and stuff. There's evil in me, I can feel it. It must be never set me free. Flaws are, I am a purveyor of doom and gloom who lives in a world without hope. I think he's just really kind of, like, depressed, and that's what makes him more evil, not to constitute that depression makes you evil, because I'm also depressed and I'm not evil, so I'm just saying everyone copes in their own way, and he coped by being rude. His harrowing event for Haunted One background is a monster that slaughtered dozens of innocents, spared your life, and you don't know why. And then he also has Heart of Darkness, which is also from the Haunted One, which is basically just strangers, like commoners, will be have courtesy towards you unless you show them danger, and then they'll leave. Weapons is he used a quarterstaff that I showed in the last video, which is just his, like, casting staff. 2 daggers, 10 darts. He has martial arts, so that's for monk. It also has the key for monks, which is kind of what he uses when he doesn't have spells left. And he also has the arcane recovery from being a wizard. I really wanted to make it like he's obviously a magic user, so he's going to want to use spells and not generally be so close in battle, but if you get close to him, he can punch you. And he's not going to, like, feel bad about that. I wanted a character that works with both long range and short range, and is strong in both. I don't think he's that OP, and when I was looking online for, like, oh, how would someone do this monk and wizard multi-class. A lot of people were just saying that it was stupid. I think it's really fun because he's very fast and he can punch someone in the head if they get too close to him. Also, I think Step of the Wind is really good. It's one of the key things that you can use, and it's you take a bonus action to dash or disengage, and jump distance is doubled. So if you dash, that your movement times 2, so you take 2 movements, and his movement is at that level when you get keys too, so he would also have that unarmored movement, so he'd be 40 feet, and then he would just move 80 feet, and if he's taking a dash as a bonus action and he's already taken his movement, he can move 120 feet in one turn. It's just cool. He's fast, and he'll get away from you, but if you get too close to him, he can also attack. It's cool. His spells use the DC of 14. Spellcasting ability is Intelligence, which I'll remind you is an 18. So that's a +4, which is very cool. So the spells he has for level 1, 3 cantrips. He has 3 cantrips the entire time, so I'll just say the 3 cantrips. Those are Chill Touch, Toll of the Dead, Sapping Sting. You might notice if you purvey a lot of wizard spells that this is all necromancy. And I wanted to stick with that necromancy. His 2 level 1 spells that he has at level 1 is Detect Magic and Witch Bolt when he hits level 2. And this is not just like level 2 in general, this is how many levels he has as wizard. So level 1 would technically be when he's level 3, level 2 would be when he's level 4, and level 3 would be level 5. As those level 2 spells, we add on Ray of Sickness and False Life. And then for level 3, we get 2 level 2 spells to add on to that, Gentle Repose and Wither and Bloom. So spell slots is when he's level 1, he has 2 level 1, when he's level 2, he has 3 level 1, and when he's level 3, he has 4 level 1 and 2 level 2 spells. Which is great. Okay, so that's like all of the technical stuff. The background and like story that I thought about for him was that he was raised in a monastery when he was little, and because he was kind of uncontrollable and always did a bunch of stuff, he was called Spirit because he had a lot of spirit according to his trainers. And so he basically would hit 2 levels while he was there, and then there was a day when the monastery was attacked by a incubus that lived nearby and was really upset about the monastery being here, and he wiped out through the entire monastery except for Spirit, and Spirit was left alive. And I'm not sure why he was left alive. Of course, I can come up with my own reasons, but I think if I was going to play him in a campaign, I would leave that up for the DM, because I know as a DM, question marks are my absolute favorite in character backstories. After that, he ran away and ran into a wizard and the wizard's apprentice. The wizard was an elven woman, and her apprentice was a human man. So Spirit lived with her, started to learn magic under her, and then she left to go back to basically wizard college. And the 2 apprentices, Spirit and this other guy named Meacham, lived together for a very long time until Meacham died of sickness, if you will. Just regular old illness. And then after that happened, Spirit kind of just moved on and became a wandering figure, which is where he would probably be introduced into a campaign. And that's kind of where we get this evil personality from him, because it's like, oh, I was spared because I'm dangerous or whatever, and he knows all these like necromancy spells, and he kind of just thinks that everyone around him either leaves or dies, so he's just going to keep walking forever because, yeah. So that's that. I definitely want to do a series about like tips for Dungeons and Dragons players who are like beginners or people who may have been playing for a long time but aren't quite sure what they're doing still, which same, that's me. And mostly I want to talk to like beginner DMs because I started playing as a DM my second game that I ever played, and it was awful. And I think even though the people I was playing with like super hyped that I was doing this, I never stopped to learn how to play properly until more recently when I haven't been playing and I've been watching other campaigns and reading through the books, and there's a lot of really cool stuff. So I'm thinking maybe I can do a small series on that. Maybe put it in between my analysis episodes for Warriors, which if you haven't seen those, you should check those out. Those are pretty cool. And yeah, thanks for stopping by.